Well, okay. I mean, I don't want to skip to Evo, but it was Evo weekend.
Bro. Why we gotta
Look,
go?
look. This isn't about video games.
It's been a while since we recorded. There's a lot to talk about, and you're already skipping to Evo.
This isn't about video games. What it's about is my belly. Because, look, I have a tradition. I usually get pizza for Evo, and I haven't really had pizza much lately, as you know, because dairy's kind of an issue. And I was like, fuck it. So I got myself the first deep dish pizza I've had in like 2 years. And so much Lactaid.
Do you just take more Lactaid if you're eating more cheese? Is that how it works?
Yeah, kinda.
It's just like a scale. Like
That's
one of those old-fashioned scales.
Let me put it this way. The few times I have cheese these days, I usually take 2 to 4 pills.
Okay.
I took 12 over the course of 2 hours eating an entire pizza.
Huh. That's
And I felt okay, but my belly has been just like mildly upset at me for the last like 48 hours because of it.
Do you feel like if you took Lactaid and didn't eat any dairy, you just feel even better?
I don't know. Why would I bother taking Lactaid if I'm not having dairy though?
It's just like enzymes, right? They help you digest.
Yeah, but enzymes to digest dairy.
Yeah, but what if they just like make you feel better anyway?
That.
Okay, well, I'm not
that worries me.
I'm not a dietitian or anything, so I can't really comment on that. But I will also say I've also been having a lot of downstairs problems. If you know what I'm saying.
Hopefully not because of pizza.
No, not because of pizza. Because of the weather, man. Like I've been going through 3 pairs of underwear a day because I get so fucking sweaty.
Oh yeah, that swamp ass. I know all about swamp ass.
It's a quagmire. It's like a literal, like the Everglades, man. It's bad. But I'm in my 3rd pair right now, so I'm as fresh as I'm gonna get. My air conditioning is off. My window is open. I'm hoping that this doesn't become a 4-pair day.
With your air conditioner off, I feel like we gotta jump into things then. So hello everybody, and welcome to the Auto Games Podcast. Video games, hello, you might even say.
Yeah, well, I was about to correct you.
I know. Well, it's been a little while. My brain's in a weird spot. But I'm Neil.
You are Neil. That is correct. And I am Matt, which is also correct. And also video games hello from myself. It has been a little bit, as I said, and a significant amount of things have happened. So, I mean, normally we would start by saying what we've been up to. So I guess I'll go ahead and start.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
If we're going to section it out all homogenized. So you were talking about Backpack Hero last time.
Yeah,
and I was like,
play a bit of that.
And I was like, oh man, I haven't played Backpack Hero in a little bit, and I do like a little roguelite, and so I opened that up, and I played a little bit of like basically every character, and boy, do they play differently.
Yeah?
Yeah, the carving thing with the frog character, that's basically just playing like a deck game.
Interesting. Because
have you not played that?
I've basically only used the one character because I've been playing the story mode slowly.
Oh, that's right, you're playing the story mode.
Yeah, I should just do some of those random real runs and just like get a little deeper into it.
There's so many modifiers now. But yeah, I mean, I first played that when it was a browser game. I remember showing it to you, and you're like, "Oh, this is fun."
But yeah, the like super little demo they had way back when.
Yeah, it was like a proof of concept. But so I played a little bit of that, and then I'm kind of going through my midlife crisis Magic the Gathering arena moment. So I think I might have mentioned before that the Final Fantasy collab with Magic the Gathering. It got me buying things that I probably shouldn't have. And then I opened a bunch of them's packs, and I was like, this is fun. It's fun to look at these cards.
Those were real packs, weren't they?
Yes, these are the real physical packs. I have a little box with all my cards in them now. And then, like, that became a thing with Jackie, where she was watching me open the packs, and she liked it so much that she bought cards. And so we're just both buying cards, and I was like, you know, I can't really make a meaningful deck out of one set. I mean, I guess I could, but I was like, I wonder like what this actually plays like in practice. And, you know, Magic the Gathering's digital partner component, Arena, did have like all the latest expansions. And literally the next expansion had came out, which is Edge of Eternities, I think. And you know, I've been playing a little bit of that, and honestly, it's been fun. I think that we talked about Arena before, probably like when it first came out, but
years ago now, yeah.
I mean, I got lots of problems with Hasbro. I got a lot of problems with Wizards of the Coast. Obviously, we've talked full extent about that, but Arena is a strangely generous game. You get a lot of wild cards just by opening packs from your daily free gold from just playing the game. And then like I popped in and like they had given me like 6 packs from like every set, even though I hadn't been playing. So I was just opening pack after pack, and I kept getting a bunch of wild cards, and I basically got to just build whatever deck I wanted, and that was fun. But yeah, you know, I've gotten back to playing that a little bit every day. But the big one, and the one that I think that you're probably anticipating me talking about, is the second and only other Switch game, and that's DK Bonanza. This it's a very interesting game, Neil. I feel like they had a lot of very interesting ideas for what they want to do with it, but oh my god, it's so hard to just not just smash everything. So this is the new 3D Donkey Kong game for the Switch 2. Apparently they were developing it for the Switch 1, and they're like, yeah, the Switch 1 can't really handle this, so they just moved it to the Switch 2 and then finished development for that. But you play as Donkey Kong, the titular DK, and you have very, very big muscle, and you can smash basically everything. Obviously, there's some very key root components to every landscape that like you kind of need, so they forbid you from smashing, which only makes you want to smash it more. But like the stories that have been coming out of this game has been kind of hilarious to me, because like I've been consuming it firsthand, but I also like was looking to get some takes from other people, because like I was kind of unsure how I felt about it at first. But like some people have been reporting like, oh, I'm getting so sick, like physically ill from playing this game, and I kind of understand how that can happen. There's a lot of cramped spaces and like camera whipping around, and like all of a sudden like you're breaking humongous pieces of terrain, and it's just like I don't understand where I'm at anymore because everything's broken. It's disorienting. But also there's been stories about people who never like they couldn't get past the first area because they just wanted to smash everything. And this is not new technology, by the way. I think that people probably have a bit of a misunderstanding about like how this game works. This is voxels. This is terrain deformation. So rather than working from polygons, they just give like points in space, and then the game engine processes those points into shapes. And so when you are punching through the terrain, it removes those points, and then it reforms the terrain in the new shape. And it is impressive how quickly it works. People were reporting frame drops. I haven't gotten any frame drops playing that game. Solid 60 frames per second. Didn't matter how much I was doing. Honestly, technically speaking, it's a very impressive game. Especially considering, you know, you go in handheld mode, it's still 60 frames per second, 1080p. And then you go in the dock mode, it's supposedly 4K. I can't really tell the difference, honestly. But yeah, it's very stable. No crashes I had in this game. But the thing is, it's a gimmick, okay? I'm gonna be honest. Like, the smashing things, I feel like there's only so much you can really do with it, and playing through, like, the critical path, which is something that I kind of started forcing myself to do, because I was falling into that trap of just wanting to smash everything. It's not really utilized that meaningfully, except for like very specific mechanics. Like, I mean, obviously they designed the game in a way that you kind of have to engage with this, but not as nearly as much as you would think. And I don't know how to feel about that. I think that the game's great. The other thing is, like, obviously they have Pauline in there. They spoiled their own game. I think it would have been a much more interesting reveal if they had not done that in the trailers. But yes, you find a rock, and then you do a little song and dance thing, and then the rock turns into Pauline, but she's like 13 or 14 or whatever. And then, you know, the plot is like just kind of barely there. Apparently you go to the center of the earth, because if you go to the center of the earth, you get your wish granted. And like, even Pauline's like, I want to go back to the surface, so I don't want to go back deeper down. And then the character that you're talking with is like, oh, but that's really the only way to do that, because you get a wish if you go to the center of the earth, and that'll help you get to the surface. And it's like so counterintuitive. But, you know, it's really a gameplay first game, right? But
Sure.
at the same time, here's Pauline, and I'm not done with the game, okay? I've gotten like 4 layers deep, but it really just doesn't address like what the hell Pauline's doing there, because, you know, we played Mario Odyssey. She's the mayor of New Donk City. Like, there's already kind of a connection to Donkey Kong because of like the classical roots. There's a connection to Donkey Kong because she's the mayor of New Donk City, which, by the way, is a horrible name. A lot of those coming out of
New Donk City.
I like it about as much as like Legend of Elliot or whatever they're calling that HD2D game.
Okay, sure.
But all that to say, if you want, okay, let me put it this way: if I was like 11, I can imagine this being like the most best thing in my life, right?
Sure.
Like, it's just the idea of like you're jumping into a game, and I mean, short of Minecraft, let's say, there hasn't been a lot of games where you can just do whatever you want to the terrain. And so if there's something about that feels magical. It's just now I have a very like technically aware brain, and so I look at things with a very different perspective, and it kind of loses some of the magic for that. But like as a game for younger people, this is probably like gonna be one of their favorite things. I can totally imagine like 10 years from now, people looking back and be like, that was my favorite game. For me though, I don't know. I feel like it gets a little old.
So there's kind of two things. Obviously, I don't have the game, but there's kind of two things that I've been watching about it and seeing about it that make me go like, I'm not sure how much I would like this game at all myself.
Mm.
And one of them is you get those like secret zones where they kind of give you like levels, right?
Yeah, they're kind of like shrines from Breath of the
Yeah.
Wild. Some of them are battle ones, and then there's a very small smattering of nostalgia ones.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of those that I've seen actually look like the most interesting and fun things in the game to me.
Right. Okay,
If
so
for no other
let's
reason, because those are where like platforming challenges and stuff are, because you can't just break it and do things. It's
right.
like, oh no, like here's a challenge to achieve. Where so much of what I've seen about the game doesn't really engage with that. So that's the first piece of like, I'm just not sure. And the other piece is, holy shit. When there's that many goddamn bananas, how does getting a banana ever feel like you achieved anything?
Well, I mean, I can speak to that a little bit, but
Okay.
to respond to your first point, I definitely made the comparison to the shrines in Breath of the Wild for a reason. So, like, both this game and Breath of the Wild are similar in the sense that they're kind of like playgrounds for the player.
Sure.
Like, you can kind of just do things however you want. Like in Tears of the Kingdom, like I made like a little hovercraft, and once I had that and I could fly wherever I wanted to, I was like, okay, I guess this is how I'm getting around from now on, right? You don't have to do that, but it certainly was a very efficient way of getting from A to B, so I did a lot of that. And in Donkey Kong Bananza, you can literally just punch your way to wherever you're going. Like, I literally skipped like what the game was wanting me to do. Like in the first layer, you're supposed to like open these drains so that water from above can like fall to an area below, and that raises a bunch of platforms. I learned pretty early on that you can just throw dirt to make bridges and stuff. So I was just like throwing dirt all the way across the level, and I just made this humongous bridge to like get to a spot that I wasn't supposed to. And the game was like, "All right, I mean, you did it. So here's the cutscene." I was like, "Oh, that's wild." And it kind of just lets you. But these little bonus areas, they are very much supposed to be these more high concept focused areas that, you know, because of their encapsulation, they can force you to engage with the game in a different way. And so yeah, it's basically the same as Shrines. To reiterate what I said. As far as the sheer immense amount of bananas that you can collect, it doesn't feel particularly fulfilling to get a singular nana. However, when you get 5 nanners, you get a skill point. So it's less about getting singular nanners and more about getting 5 so that you can get a new skill. Because you'd have a skill tree in this.
Okay. Yeah, I mean...
You are motivated to nanner. And then the other thing is, like... And this is part that I actually do really like. So as you are punching through terrain, there is a random chance for it to just generate a chest. So, like, you could literally... Like, there's no, like, predetermined chests. You just have them pop out sometimes as you're digging. And when you open a chest, you get a map. And the map can be to a fossil, or it could be to a banana. And if it's to a banana, like, that's, okay, there it is. And then you go and you get it. And that's one off the list. And so, you're actually incentivized to just start smashing shit up, like, pretty wildly if you don't know where that last banana is. Like, it's like, you are literally upset that you don't know where it is, so you smash a bunch of stuff, and the game's like, here it is. And you're like, oh, okay. So there's not a lot of frustration in terms of how hard it would be to 100% this game. It would actually be fairly straightforward. It's just also a lot of time.
Fair.
So, yeah. I mean, I've been having fun with it, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I think that it's
I imagine I would enjoy a lot of it too. I'm not trying to say, like, I think this game probably sucks. It's just... I can, just watching it, I feel like I can see parts where I would kind of be bored by it.
Yeah. Again, I think that the charm of smashing things, it kind of waxes and wanes. I think there's certain times where, like, oh, well, I could do it in this very interesting way, and other times it's like, I'm literally just going to tunnel all the way to my objective. And then you do. So, I mean, I would give it, right now, my perspective is like a solid 7.5 out of 10. Which is...
What was your approximate rating for Odyssey?
For Odyssey, I would have given Odyssey an 8.
Okay. So a little bit worse than Odyssey.
My issue with Odyssey is that the gimmick was underused. And my issue with Bananza is that the gimmick is overused.
Sure.
Like people, it's so easy to forget that Odyssey was literally about Mario possessing things, right? He throws his cap on it and then he possesses it. And like, you can literally go into the menu and like look at the things that you've possessed and like what is available to possess, and it's like 12 things. And like 8 of those things are repeats of other things, just that they look different.
Sure.
And it's just like, why was this the mechanic? Is it literally just for the finale where you capture Bowser? You get to play as Bowser for a little bit? Like, that was sick, don't get me wrong.
Spoilers.
You played it, didn't you?
Yes.
Bro.
And I know, it's like a almost decade-year-old game at this point.
Me feel old. Bro, it's so wild that they're raising the price of the original Switch.
It sure is. They just released the new Switch, and they're saying, hey, that old one also going up in price? What the fuck?
I mean, I feel like that's a very aggressive strategy to migrate people to the new hardware. Because it's like, if the old one's even more expensive, then why would I bother? Just buy the new one.
Yeah, but wasn't it usually, hey, you lower the price to try to get them off the fucking shelf? so that people will
Yeah.
so you have room for the new one?
I mean, I can't really comment on what the supply of original Switches is like right now, but I know that
Yeah.
because of tariffs and, supply lines and all that, I can imagine
Yeah.
that they're less incentivized to produce more original Switches. But I don't know. I think that I feel old, Neil. I think that I feel old.
Fair. And I'm not going to comment too much about the price raising thing. We I'm sure remember my rant about console pricing a couple episodes ago. So,
I mean, if we have to circle back to it, we will. But I think that's all that needs to be said about it. What about you, Neil? What have you been up to?
I've been playing a lot more Blueprints. I mentioned a little bit of it last time, kind of giving you the structure and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was reserved on my feelings because I hadn't put much time into it at that point. And now I have, as of yesterday's stream, gotten to room 46, which is kind of the initial goal they give you.
Initial? Neil, are you saying there's more goals?
I'm not. There's not an explicit other goal that I have yet received. I know that if I start a new day, I was already running late, so I didn't. If I start another day, something will happen. I don't know if it's going to be giving me a new goal or what. There's a lot of puzzles I didn't finish, or not even puzzles, but there's a lot of like areas where I'm like, there's a way to open this door that I didn't yet figure out.
Discoveries yet to be made.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that left in that game, and I know it. Which in some ways is actually maybe the most surprising thing about it, because there's quite a few larger puzzles. And when I think about these kinds of games, or at least puzzly games, I can think of games like, a great example for me is Tunic, right? Tunic is a game that has a lot of hidden stuff around it, and at a certain point you realize, oh, this isn't like kind of a Zelda game. This is like very much a discover the puzzle of this world game. And the big puzzle that you figure out there is meaningful and brings you to a like big ending. You can go to a different ending before that, but that's how you get like the path ending or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And that's really satisfying for me. This game doesn't feel like it has that.
Oh.
And I don't mean in like necessarily a bad way. It gives you a pretty clear goal. There's probably a lot of ways to get to that goal where you discover a bunch of stuff I haven't figured out yet, do rooms I haven't even experimented in, because the structure of this game allows for all those different paths through the game, so to speak. But when I had a run yesterday where it was like, oh, these couple of things I have managed to do and open up have brought me to a point where this run is going to get me to room 46, apparently, and roll credits and get the ending. And it's a good ending. Like, don't get me wrong. I do very much enjoy it, and getting 46 was very satisfying. But there's also a part of me going like, one of the biggest, like, ooh, every room spanning puzzle things that I figured out, what it tells me is there's like 8 things for me to find, and I found 2 of them. And that wasn't part of the like main progression that I thought it was. And that is like in some way a little deflating, because I'm like, wait, how did I get to 46 already? Like, I thought the big puzzle I was figuring out was the thing getting me there, not these like little ones that I did instead.
Well, I mean, it certainly sounds like the veil has not yet been cast back from that game.
Yeah. I had only committed to getting room 46 and rolling credits for my stream. I am going to do one more stream of the game just to be like, all right, let's try to figure out a little bit more of these other things, and I might still look into more after that. But I have been very careful about spoilers for that game. There's like a whole podcast of people talking about that game from like 2.5 months ago that has just been sitting on my phone waiting to be listened to. And I'm not gonna listen to that at least until I'm done with streaming it, and then I might go like, okay, let's see what like other people thought about this game and what they found in this game that maybe I didn't find that is like cool or interesting and worth engaging with still.
Man, I'm sure that there's like a ton of games that I just did not end up playing because I accidentally heard someone talking about them.
To be fair, I think there's a like equal number of games where I have played it because I heard people talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons?
Yes, I do remember that.
So that game has like the big moment. And I knew about the big moment before I played that game, but hearing people talk about how impactful that was like, I'm going to get and play this game at some point in the next few months. And I really enjoyed that game. Like, and that was because, yes, it was spoiled for me, but it wasn't on my radar without people talking about how meaningful the moment and stuff was. So, like, yes, there's definitely games where that maybe isn't going to be the case. And a game about discovery, like Blueprints or Outer Wilds, is definitely not the kind of game I would want spoiled for me in that way. So that's why I avoided them.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you're not talking the details of this because, I mean...
Yeah. I am definitely not going to talk the details. What I will say is there's more roguelite stuff in that game, like permanent progression type things you can do in this game than it originally feels like there might be.
Okay.
That's really all I'm going to say about it. And like, it's cool. Like I was satisfied with what I've put into it. It's a very cool game.
Man, you know, when talking about games where there's permanent progression, I also think about games where there's not, and everything is just based on knowledge. You know, there was a really great game that was my game of the year. It was the part-time gamers game of the year back when we were part-time gamers, called Void Stranger. And one of my favorite YouTube documentarians, Super Eye Patch Wolf, made a video about it. I highly recommend that to anybody who listened to me ramble on about Void Stranger and then was confused about what that actually meant. I think he articulates it very well. But moving on, I just wanted to make sure I got that recommendation in.
No problem.
So... we got news, man.
Well, hold on. I got one other game to talk about.
No, we got news.
It'll be quick.
And the news is the next game that you played.
So, you and I both know, I generally don't do a lot of early access.
Uh-oh.
I did some early access.
But you don't do that, Neil.
I know. So I have a question for you, Matt.
Okay.
What do you know about Warframe?
I mean, I know that it's a game that is incredibly hard to get into since it's been out for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that they had a weird update where it was like a different time era, and it was heavily advertised during the Game Awards. And I was like, what the fuck is this? I don't know what this is supposed to be originally, so this doesn't mean a lot to me. I also have a friend who plays a lot of Warframe. But that's about it.
Fair. That's about as much as I know about Warframe as well. But
okay.
I also know that the developers behind that are making another game called Soulframe.
Oh. Okay. Is it Souls-like?
No.
Okay, good. In fact, that was a little on the nose.
As someone who doesn't know a lot about Warframe, I kind of now have a better idea of how Warframe is structured. And there's neat things and there's really shitty things about it.
I hear there's a lot of grinding.
Yes, I am discovering that grinding might be a big thing in their games. Soulframe is more of a, like... if Warframe is a like sci-fi action game with some fantasy elements, Soulframe is a fantasy game, uh, also a little bit slower on the still action, but a little bit slower, with some sci-fi elements in it.
Well, howdy doody.
And I had kind of heard about this game, gosh, probably like half a year ago, and it was kind of on my radar, and I was like, that some stuff about what they said sounds interesting. If I'm going to try to get into a game by this company, I should try to get in on a more ground floor level, so to speak, because I'm just never gonna try to get into Warframe at this point. There's too much. It's too fucking big and crazy.
Okay, but was that the sole reason you decided to pick up this game in early access?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow, that feels kind of weirdly fickle.
So I had heard some people talking about it on another podcast, and it sounded interesting, and I was like, let me see what I can do. I signed up. They don't have like a time frame for when this is coming out, but I was like, I'm gonna check this out a little bit, see what the heck is going on.
They don't have a time frame.
No.
They have
what they do have
frame.
is what they're calling the Prelude, and I guess they're on like part 10 since this Prelude has started.
Okay.
For whatever this early access means.
All I'm saying is if I went to a play and the Prelude was 10 parts, I'd be like, I'm done.
Fair. The thing that I can say about this game that is really like cool is the way that it is written and presented is kind of awesome, because it is just sort of, it throws you in a way, but it throws you in with people speaking in like very heavy like accents, so to speak. Like the way that they are speaking is trying to be kind of like old Englishy in a very like particular way, with all these weird just proper nouns of space things and all that.
Okay.
And the way that it is presenting itself in that way is like really interesting. The way that it is presenting the world and how you discover it, you are like running around in kind of an open world for a lot of this.
Ew, you hate open world.
Open world isn't putting it the right way. You are running around a very large space that you can just kind of run around and do grindy quests in. It's not
like an open world
in the like. Yes, it is a open space to run around in. But there's like a bunch of landmarks in that space, and when you get to these landmarks, the name will come up and it'll just be in a bunch of like weird runes. And the way you find out what this place is called is you find these kind of like sparks in the world near these ruins or buildings or towns or whatever, and you kind of collect those, and it'll uncover some amount of the runes. But you know, you can't get all of those at once. You kind of have to come back in like 24 hours or something, and maybe a few more of those motes will be around for you to collect and uncover the rest of the name of this place. And when you uncover all of it, then you will get like a bonus that you can put onto some of your equipment. And so like kind of the structure around like exploring this world, I think is kind of engaging and interesting. The part I'm less engaged and interested with is, holy shit, this is how they structure these games. This is the grind of these games. You are running around collecting a bunch of fragments of weapons and stuff, and then materials, and then you bring them to the blacksmith that you eventually unlock when you find them, and you say, hey blacksmith, I want this new sword that I have the pattern for and the materials for. And they say, cool, come back in 6 to 10 real world hours and you can get this sword.
Oh, you didn't... Okay, so that's a pretty common practice in free-to-play online games nowadays.
Yes. Usually when I've run into it, it has not been in a way that is, Usually when I've seen it, it's been a free-to-play mobile game and I'm paying money for energy to speed it up or something. There's none of that here, at least yet. I'm sure they will add that in when this game becomes real and you can put money into it. But I just didn't know that was kind of how this game works. And the reason that has kind of been the big detriment to me is when you first launch this game and you go through its weird, like, wild character creation thing that is, like, not much of a character creator. You're just kind of picking a bunch of weird things while listening to a guy, like, say a poem based on what you say. It's, like, it's really cool and really weird. You make a choice at that point, at least right now, between one of three, I guess, pacts is what they call them. And those are going to determine some amount of the powers that you get off the bat. And getting another pact is an ordeal. And there's not a way to start over or anything like that. So, like, you pick your pact at the beginning, and if you want to try any of these other pacts, you are going to be grinding in this game for quite a while to get to a point where you can actually engage with a different moveset. Or power set, not moveset. The weapons are the movesets. But, like, I did not realize that's how this game worked. And I finally, after, like, 20 hours or something, have, like, been able to get all of the different weapon types to try out and at least one other pact to be messing around with. And it's very cool, but, oh man, it drives me further away from Warframe.
I don't know. I just feel like everything that I knew about you is wrong.
Everything you know?
Well, yeah, you're doing early access, you're playing open world and enjoying it, and it's like, what happened to Neil?
Okay. The way that you engage with this open world is closer to how you engage with the open world of Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah, whatever you want to say to justify it, that's fine.
And I mean that in that, like, what you are doing is extremely limited. It's not the open world of, like, I don't know. Right now it's just a grind. I'm still going to be playing it for a while. I want to experiment a little more.
I mean, it sounds like you're going to have to play it for a while because you got to wait 6 hours to get your weapon.
So true. Apparently I have unlocked probably like 80% of the equipment that even exists in the game right now outside of the pacts. So it's a slight at the moment, but it's very interesting and the vibe is extremely cool. When you're running around this world and getting, like, through the kind of story quest that it does for you, and a fucking, like, spaceship starts coming down over this otherwise super, like, naturalistic world, fantasy world, and shooting lightning all over the place, and people start screaming to you about bannerets and shit, and you're just like, what the fuck is happening? What is this game? I am interested.
Sounds like you're confused, of this game are but the vibe cool. Is immaculate.
Yes, 100%. Let's talk about news.
Okay. Well, there's a lot to dig into here, obviously. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I did want to talk about Subnautica 2.
Okay. Yeah, there's fucking news about that.
Yeah, so, if you guys don't know, there's gonna be a sequel to Subnautica. It's not Below Zero, but it's Subnautica 2, like 2 proper. The people who made Subnautica Unknown Worlds partnered with a publisher named Krafton, and apparently there was some sort of deal struck with Krafton that if they met certain thresholds, I suppose, then the executives of Unknown Worlds would receive a substantial bonus. Okay? That was the deal that was struck. And then it seemed like what was happening most recently was that Krafton was trying to sabotage the project and fire the executives for whatever goddamn reason they came up with to avoid paying them that bonus. And now the executives of Unknown Worlds are I mean, they're still the executives. I just think that they were fired from the project. I'm not exactly sure how that works. But now they're turning around trying to sue Krafton. And I mean, it looks pretty cut and dry to me. I mean, I'm no lawyer. I haven't looked at the documentation, and I don't really know. I can't say that I can peer into the minds of the people at Krafton who decided to fire these three. But I will say that they were really close to that threshold. So that kind of leads me to believe that, yeah, there's some fucking foul play about this game. And it's really disparaging because, like, this game was really set up to be something big. People love Subnautica. And I know that Below Zero was a little bit of a departure from, like, the formula. But I know there's a lot of people who are excited for this, and the game's going to suffer because of all this.
Yeah.
So that's really fucking lame.
Yeah, Krafton really seems like they did not want to pay. I did look into this a bit as well. They have fired off stuff like, I mean, the 3 guys that we fired were going to get most of that bonus anyway, and it's like, okay, sure. That doesn't stop you from having to pay that doesn't change the fact that it looks like you fired them to prevent this from coming out, so you don't have to pay this bonus.
Yeah, and to complicate matters, there were some statements from Krafton's US employees who said that, like, the attitude for the game kind of shifted pretty radically. Where Krafton was originally focused on, like, getting a really good successful launch, and then suddenly, like, heel turned and they were trying to convince Unknown Worlds to delay the game. Like, it's like, why? It's on track.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer, of course, is because they don't want them to meet sales so that they don't have to pay out this humongous bonus. I mean, listen, don't promise humongous bonuses. Like, it was like $250 million. Like, why would you promise that? Like, I get it. Like, there's a lot of money thrown around at the highest levels, the highest echelons of the video game production world. Okay, I get it. But that's a ridiculous amount. And because you promised them that, then you should probably give it to them. Because they were doing exactly what they were supposed to. So yeah, that sucks. A little bit of a dark underbelly intro into this long string of news. What else? I mean, let's hit the small stuff before we head into, like, all the more long, meaningful stuff. I mean, this is kind of meaningful, but so another headline that I saw was apparently Nintendo openly reported to Japanese Switch 2 owners that they should not play their Switch 2 abroad. And
I missed this one. What?
Yeah, so Nintendo Japan put out a tweet telling Japanese Switch 2 owners who own the Japanese Switch 2 to be like, hey,
the one that's, like, cheaper and region locked,
the one,
or whatever,
yes,
because
yes,
okay.
They were reporting, hey, try to avoid playing that abroad. And it's like, well, that's a weird thing to tell someone to do. Like, they bought it. If they want to travel and play their thing, they should be able to. But what my understanding is, like, the logic bridge that is linking all of the evidence here is that because the Japanese Switches are cheaper, people have taken to buying them from Japan, even though they're region locked, and using them, and, you know, like, using Japanese pay cards and, like, buying the games online. Because a lot of the games have language settings, right? So it doesn't really matter what region you buy it in, even if it's locked, you probably have access to whatever language you want. So that was happening, and Nintendo was probably banning those Switches. But because they don't have the ability to really look into, like, why a Japanese Switch is abroad, it's probably just, like, scorched earth for this. And so they're like, yeah, if you do that, you're kind of risking a false positive on this thing. And the other thing is, like, even if that is the case, like, you shouldn't be policing what Switches are used where. Like, that's wild.
Ugh, Nintendo makes some very cool games, and holy shit, their business practices in so many spaces is just, what the fuck.
again, I think that it's important to differentiate between the suits and the developers, because they're very different groups.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it's people have
Like
gone on record, like
this
former
mostly
employees.
hurts the people that they made that specific Switch for. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah, you know, I think I mentioned before, but ex-employees have gone on record saying like, yeah, the whole point is like to protect value, and you know, sometimes that means apparently ruining devices for people who are just using them legitimately, which seems to be a trend for Nintendo. But I mean, more on that later, inevitably, I'm sure. But hey, in that vein, there was a partner direct that came out. Speaking of the developer side,
Speaking
I
of the adventures of Elliot or whatever.
the Adventures of Elliot, yes. Um, yeah, you know, this was not the most stirring of partner directs that I've seen. It opened up with Monster Hunter Stories 3, and I promised myself I was going to talk about this. I had not played any of the Monster Hunter Stories games. I love Monster Hunter. I know that the most recent entry has been getting review bombed pretty wildly due to ongoing compatibility and performance issues. But as far as Monster Hunter Stories goes, I don't really know a lot about it. But boy, did they do that trope of like the dude running and jumping off a cliff and then whistling, and then his flying mount comes and swoops him up. I hate that. That's one of my least favorite tropes. And the reason is because you can't really fucking whistle while you're falling at terminal velocity. Like, the wind is whipping you in the face harder than you can blow it. Like, you're just gonna fall, bro. You can't call anybody. Like, it's just a stupid idea. Like, conceptually, it's just stupid. I hate it. I hope that one day someone does that scene and then just nobody comes and he fails to whistle and he just falls in the water. Like, that would be very satisfying for me. They did show more of Hyrule Warriors. That looks like a thing. I'm sure people are gonna love that. Oh, the chilling by the fire. You saw that trailer, right? That little demo.
Yeah.
Where it's just you make a fire and then
Yeah,
the
you get to like place all
disembodied
the logs and make
right.
them. Yeah.
I think that's like a one pandemic too late for that game.
Oh my
So
god.
having like the disembodied heads of your low resolution webcam friends gawk at you as you place pieces of wood does not sound like a fun experience. And the fact that it got highlighted so heavily, I don't know what to make of that, Neil. I feel like some of the things that they showcase just doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't think that Chillin' by the Fire devs had the money to buy a spot in this. I think that Nintendo's just like, yeah, let's show that one. And it's probably because it was one of the few games that actually had their camera gimmick enabled.
Yeah, it's one of the few things actually using some of their new tech.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a thing. What else got showcased? There's a lot of ports, just a whole lot of ports. And then what was it? I saw there was Just Dance 2026.
Yep.
And nothing makes me feel older than seeing the new Just Dance trailer and not knowing any of the songs. That just makes me feel really fucking old, man. Like, I know I've been emphasizing that I feel old, but that was certainly, I was like, wow, I guess I just don't know music no more. So that was
you're
thing.
Not listening to enough Sabrina Carpenter or Twice.
I mean, I like that one song by Sabrina, that Espresso song. That's pretty catchy.
Okay.
But that was not on the soundtrack, or else I would be able to say I knew a song from the Just Dance trailer. But I think one of the things that I was interested in was there's a new Katamari game coming out. It's been a while since a new Katamari game has come out. I mean, the issue with the Katamari series is that, like, it has a very visually distinct style, and it doesn't really capitalize on new hardware. I guess you could just shove more things into any given screen, but the fact that they showed it and it was looking kind of framey did make me feel good.
Fair.
I love Katamari. I remember picking up the very first one on a whim and be like, wow, this is really different. It's hard to recapture that and I don't know that this new game will, but it is at least a new game. So
Sure.
among so many
Sure.
ports.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then at the very end, they were like, "Oh, we got 2 other announcements for you," and they were both Square Enix 2D HD games, and both with similarly bad names. It's just the trend for all the 2D
Now,
HD games.
name aside, I will say that the Adventure of Elliot game, looking like it is more of a Secret of Mana, Secret of Evermore style game,
Yeah,
actually kind of makes me want to play it.
Illusions of Gaia, Terra Enigma kind of deal.
Yeah, like those were way more exciting to me back in the Super NES days than uh, anything Octopath Traveler is cribbing from. But I still probably won't end up getting these. It's just Adventure of Elliot, despite how stupid the name was. It's probably not even the name. It had some other
No,
subtitle and
that's the name. I'm looking at it right now.
no, there was more to it. It was something Elliot and then like Mage of Grimlock or something. I don't fucking know.
Grimlock. Well, there's a game called Grimlock. I forget what it's called, but uh, no, it's The Adventures of Elliot, colon the Millennium Tales.
The Millennium Tales. There you go.
Why couldn't they just call it Millennium Tales? Like that would have been fine.
Who knows? But
That literally would have been the best name they came up with since they started doing 2D HD. If they just called it Millennium Tales, but they just had to get Elliot in there.
they did. They did. And again, like the gameplay of that one actually made me go like, ooh, like they're doing something cool. Uh
Yeah. I mean, so the demo's out. They put the demo
oh,
out the same day,
I didn't
and
realize
it's
that.
Square Enix is very much doing the same thing that they did with the original Octopath Traveler, where they're kind of getting a feeler out there and having people do a survey at the end, so
Mm-hmm.
that they can try and actually like make the game what people want. Which, frankly, is a big reason that Octopath Traveler was as successful as it was. You know, I didn't
Fair.
when I first saw the game, I was like, this probably isn't going to be very successful, and here we are with yet another Octopath Traveler game coming out. So, foot in my mouth, right? Um, so I'll probably play that demo relatively
Cool.
soon, and I'll talk about it next time. But yeah, people seem to like it. Like, people are saying it's good.
Glad to hear it.
Also, in the trailer, they used the term Magicite, which is like a very Final Fantasy VI thing.
Mm-hmm.
Square Enix has kind of gotten pretty lax with their terminology ever since Bravely Default. It's just all of their fantasy games are kind of connected at this point, rife for the crossovers, I guess. So
Yeah.
that was the Nintendo Partner Direct. Of course, that was not the only thing that occurred over this last period. I think that maybe you should take the floor for this for Evo. I think that you were a little more in tune with it than I was this
Yeah.
year.
So I'll admit, a lot of Evo for me was just kind of trying to pay attention to what's getting announced and stuff. And we can admit that there's maybe one or two games I'm a little more focused on than the others right now.
Yeah,
2XKO, cough, cough.
yeah.
Um, and 2XKO actually had probably the biggest, most exciting thing, kind of right before Evo, but still very exciting. Which is they're doing their soft launch, not full release, not 1.0. They've said there's going to be 10 characters for that, and as far as I know, they're still claiming this year, which not that much year left at this point.
Yeah.
Um, but they're doing their soft launch early next month. I believe September 9th is when that's going to be out in what they're calling a closed beta. Uh, Mostly, I think it's closed because it's not going to console yet, and I think that is the big reason why they're calling it closed. Because it sounds like if you were in any of the other alphas or alpha labs, is what they were calling them, you're automatically in,
That means
and chances
me.
are you're going to get invites and stuff to just kind of let people get it, kind of the way that many of their other games, like Valorant and even League of Legends, fucking 20 years ago or whatever, like
Oh man,
was in quote unquote beta for a while before they said it was
cannot
out, but
wait.
like everyone could play it.
cannot wait to sell my invite codes on the black market. Remember that? Remember when that was a thing? People were so desperate to play Valorant. They're
Oh
like
boy.
trying to
Well, I'm
buy
not planning
codes
on
off people.
selling mine, but I am very excited for that to come out in
Oh,
the closed beta. Vi got introduced. Vi is someone I was expecting and looks very fun. But Evo happened, and Evo was big this year, as it always is. 3 whole days. Mm-hmm.
I just to comment on the announcement happening before Evo. I feel like that really took a little bit of the wind out of the sails of the event. Because as far as Evo's concerned, I don't mean to like cut you off here. I feel
No.
like the announcements were kind of underwhelming.
Yes, I would agree. There's one announcement that I think was pretty big at Evo, and
Hmm.
unfortunately, it didn't have a lot of info about it. But on Sunday morning, we had our Guilty Gear Strive grand finals, and right afterwards, they said, "Hey, here's the character trailer for Lucy. You know she's coming. This game has been very good for us. We're doing more." And what they're doing is 2.0, which they're not telling us what that means, but that is a very different way of, like, everyone kind of called Season 2 2.0, except for apparently Arxis. So,
Arcs
uh,
has got their hands full, man.
they sure do. They have uh, some more stuff coming out for Grand Blue. They got whatever
Token.
2.0 is, and then they have the big Marvel one, Tokon, which Fighting Souls, the Marvel game,
Yeah.
which people got hands on. People were very excited about. We got to find out how that game actually works, which is cool.
Which is
And
different than
different,
Marvel.
yeah, very different. One health bar, and you are unlocking your assists and like teams as the fight progresses, which is a very different way of going about it, but it looks cool and fun.
Yeah.
Um, but the 2.0 thing is big because nobody really knows what that means, and there's a lot of speculation about it being a much bigger change, which, considering they did things like add an entire new mechanic with Wild Assault at like 3.0, or I guess 1.3? What are we supposed to fucking call it? Season 3. Um, this might be something bigger and more different. Are they going to make you buy a new thing? That seems weird. I don't expect they're going to say, "Hey, this is like uh uh Exord Rev 2 where you have to buy a brand new thing to get this stuff." But who knows?
Yeah, I
Um
mean, I think that it's mostly just going to be something embedded in the actual game. Like, I feel like if they're going to do like strive, exceed, whatever, I think that they would just say it.
yeah. That's
Um,
kind of my feeling on it too. I think this is going to be a big change. I know they're restructuring the way that they're doing their online matchmaking and stuff. Like maybe that's part of this, but I don't imagine them getting away from the Strive platform when that is where they have so many sales already.
yeah, so this might seem kind of like a nebulous piece of news if you don't understand like patch conventions. So whenever you have like a full integer, like from 1 to 2 or 2 to 3, that's generally considered like a hallmark patch that's ultimately like changing a lot. So, a lot of people will see like, oh, version 2, it's like, okay, it's another update. Yeah, it's a supposedly going to be a really big update, but again, we don't know a whole lot about that. But the fact that they're saying version 2 implies that like the paradigm is going to be changed in some way.
So, so here's my big speculation.
Okay.
People have been saying insta kills are a major part of Guilty Gear and they're not in this game. I think they
Yeah.
might add insta kills.
Um I think that the pace of Strive doesn't really need insta kills, but I know that stylistically people love them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would say, yeah. I mean, that's certainly on the table. I don't see why it wouldn't be. Um, Going back and going through all the roster and adding a whole new thing, it's a lot of work. But I mean, that
Yeah.
is version 2 kind of work. I want to talk more about Lucy.
Yeah.
We So when they announced that they were going to be doing a cyberpunk character, we were both kind of baffled they decided to pick the fucking
The hacker.
the hacker, the edge runner or whatever you want to call it. And they kind of justify that by saying that it's a isekai situation and she's kind of diving into the game of Strive. It seems this is how it's presented, at least.
Yes, it's very fucking goofy, frankly.
But that's Strive, man. You gotta love it. And
I know. I do think it's very funny, the idea that, like, she dives into some fucking corporate headquarters and the black ice she runs into is Soul Bad Guy.
yeah, I mean, listen, after that one boxing ad that came out,
oh, fuck that thing. God damn it. So
sorry for bringing that up,
stupid.
but you gave me the opportunity to talk about that. But to stay on focus here, I really appreciate that while she's from the animated series for Cyberpunk, they definitely played homage to Cyberpunk 2077 when they showed one of her moves was literally just the hacking thing from Cyberpunk 2077.
Yep.
And one of the things I got to give it to Strive is that every character feels very unique. A lot of fighting, I mean, that's in fighting games in general, but I feel like Strive really kind of pushes that with just the sheer amount of, like, really weird fringe gimmicks that each character has. Mm-hmm. And I'm very interested in seeing, like, how this interacts with the actual gameplay. So I'd like to see more of that. Yeah, I agree that was the most interesting and cool news that came out. I mean, everything else was just kind of like a new character, like Armor King coming to Tekken. Like, if you love Tekken, then that's really huge for you. Armor King is, in lore, and a very interesting character. But to me, it's just like, okay, I don't play Tekken, so this doesn't convince me to want to play.
Yeah. We also got our first look at Sea Viper for Street Fighter 6. Unfortunately, no gameplay, just the World Tour teaser, which is, like, never exciting. But I guess we get to look at her design. They took away her tie, so I guess you can see her boobs better now.
Finally.
Finally.
That was definitely on the design notes for a long time. They also announced Hologram Bison. So that's cool.
Oh, yeah, I guess they can definitely just make that a skin if they want to. Hooray.
Yeah. And also the swimsuits. Hooray.
Yeah, they definitely also were like, hey, how much do you like Cammy's skin? Because we're going to show even more of it than usual.
It's tan now because she was at the beach.
Yeah. And I will say, as far as the actual EVO competition stuff is concerned, there were some very exciting moments. I don't play City of the Wolves, but I actually think that the grand finals of City of the Wolves was one of the more exciting grand finals that I watched. Unfortunately, Street Fighter was maybe one of the least exciting ones. Not because I didn't like the people up there, but it was so fucking one-sided that it was just kind of like, oh, okay, Mena's got this. Like, it's cool. It's amazing to see, especially knowing, hey, Kakeru is the person who won Capcom Cup with this character, with JP, a few months ago. Getting just mauled this hard is a surprise, but it didn't have any of those exciting moments of, like, holy shit, next hit gets the win for either of these people, that kind of impactful moment.
Oh, Neil, you're looking at it as a small picture, but you have to look at the full drama, When Kakeru and Mena, like, were facing off, like it's a fucking boxing match, and then they, like, went into the match and he just got destroyed. Like, this is setting up much more drama moving forward, right? Because now Kakeru has his eyes on Mena basically for the next year. And so he's going to really study the matchup against Blanca, and I think that we're going to see, like, a lot more sparks flying moving forward. And yeah, I know that maybe it wasn't the most interesting grand finals, but I think that in the grand scheme of things, like, this is like really big.
Sure. And to be fair, like, Mena's story in general is like I like his story in the FGC.
Yeah.
When he came up during Street Fighter V, he was honestly not somebody that a lot of people like. He came up as an unknown, and a lot of people kind of trashed him, going like, he's not that good, he's not that good. He's carried by Abigail, because Abigail was kind of broken when Abigail came out. But they have proved time and time again that they really are just one of the best fucking fighting game Street Fighter players out there. For the last like 6 or 7 years now. And knowing just a little bit about their time with Street Fighter 6, they've been like kind of vocal out there, being like, I'm not feeling this game very much. I'm in a place that's not really good. And then to see them actually come back in the latter half of this year. Well, not latter half, we're still this year. See him come back this year to really turn everything around and be one of the obvious best players of this game again is like very cool. That is a good story.
Didn't Mena take Evo Japan too?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like, this year they're back, but like last year they basically weren't getting even top 8s in a lot of places.
Yeah. Well, I mean, double crown this year. Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, nothing but a big target on your back there, Mena. Good luck.
For sure.
Speaking of unknowns, up and comers, boy, Mickey from Hong Kong.
Yes.
Let's give credit where credit's due. That little guy. Boy, he just blew up the brackets.
Run, taking out some greats along the way.
I mean, he was in losers finals. Like, it could have, and it could have gone either way, honestly. So, boy, look out for that guy.
I missed how old he is. I know Blaz from Chile. I think that was at that must have been Evo Japan, where
He's like 16 or 17.
Yeah, he was like 16 as well. A bunch of these really young kids apparently are fucking amazing at Street Fighter 6.
And thank God. I love to see younger people playing fighting games instead of Fortnite. Please more of that.
True. So true.
All right. Well, so that was Evo. Not a lot of like specific things to talk about. A lot of great moments. But yeah, I mean, if nothing else, even if you're not that interested in fighting games, watching grand finals kind of like shows you how people are about this stuff. So whether that's Street Fighter or Strive or any of the other games, just pick one, check it out. Maybe you'll catch the bug.
Yeah. And Lord knows, right now, this last like year and going forward looks like a great time to try to get into fighting games, because
a lot happening.
There's a lot happening, and also a lot of these games have been made now in a way to try to entice people that maybe wouldn't have been able to get into them in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's definitely no shame in being a starter. I think one of the things that fighting games certainly helped me with was the idea of like not being good at something when you start. Like, that's tough as an adult. I know that it's been a hot topic in many circles right now, but like, failure is a hard thing to deal with when you are older, because there's just this expectation that if you are this age, then you should be performant, or you should be able to perform. And that's not always possible. But I mean, if I can get platinum in Street Fighter, then surely y'all could go out and do the same. So. What else? Oh, we should probably talk about the plagiarism in Pokemon TCG. I was so flabbergasted by this. I actually messaged you before.
Yes, you wanted me to remind you to make sure to talk about it. You know what? I know you have a lot of feelings on that one. Let me talk about one other thing that's related.
Oh, okay.
Sony is suing Tencent over... I can't remember the name of the game because it's so forgettable. Lights of Moron or something.
Lights of Moron.
Point is, They're
morons.
suing them because Tencent is putting out a game that is so extremely just Horizon Zero Dawn in everything other than maybe some gameplay. It is way worse than anything Palworld got close to doing. And
Wow.
as it came out, Tencent went to Sony saying, hey, we want to make a Horizon game. Sony said no, and they just fucking made it anyway. Like, screenshots side by side of the fucking enemy design and stuff is like, that is literally this thing. The main character has the exact same color palette and just looks a little more anime, and that's about it for differences. It is wild how extremely ripped off everything is. Holy shit. Plagiarism. Tell me about Pokemon.
Disappointing on I just to comment on that, it's just disappointing on several levels because Tencent is just a giant sack of money. Like, they could hire any number of people to create something unique and interesting, and instead they want to carbon copy fucking Horizon Zero Dawn. And don't get me wrong, people love Horizon Zero Dawn. I remember, I go back to this memory quite a bit, but when God of War was at its peak, Dante's Inferno came out, and Dante's Inferno, people were trashing because, like, this is just a God of War ripoff, and the developers of Dante's Inferno came out, was like, yeah, we like God of War. We wanted to see more of it. And it's just like, you know what? Fair, But when it's literally, like, shoulder to shoulder the same fucking game, it's like, you're not doing anything. It's creatively bankrupt.
Yeah, like Dante's Inferno was extremely a God of War game, but at least it wasn't, hey, our guy looks like Kratos too.
Yeah. He didn't, like, have the fucking swingy blades. He had a scythe. It was different, It's like, you could make the same argument that God of War was a knockoff of Devil May Cry, right? So, like, things are going to be iterative, but this is not that. It's literally just copying someone's homework. That's stupid. But you know what else is stupid is Pokemon Company running their TCG Pocket app. You can open up little packs of cards for free every 12 hours, I guess. They released the newest expansion, which features Ho-Oh and Lugia, two of the stupidest named legendaries in the entire fucking game. But the art that was used for the cards, specifically, it's a specific kind of card. I forget what it is, but I think it's like immersive or something. But you can hold down, if you own the card, if you hold down the card on your screen, it plays a little animation, right? So the creation of these cards is a lot more involved because they need to make little animations for them. And it turns out that the art that they utilized was actually plagiarized from a commission. And the really embarrassing thing is that the person who was commissioned to do the art has done art for the Pokemon trading card game. So they literally plagiarized art from one of their own artists. Because it was a commissioned piece from...
Holy shit.
Yeah, I didn't realize this aspect originally, but, like, it's come out, yeah.
Yeah, the little bit I saw was not that extreme. Holy shit.
So the artist's name is C.A. Nanahara, and they've done several cards for the trading card game. You can actually look up their art, and you'll see that, yeah, they have very good art style. And I guess that kind of gives some credence for the confusion over how this would end up getting used. But, the actual logistics behind this happening, like, it's wild that all of the checks that they could have done just let this happen. And so they pulled the art for the cards last second, and I got both of them in opening booster packs. And so I made a little display, because you can make little displays in the game, so that when other people look at your profile, it's the cards that you chose. And now it's just two cards that say image pending or whatever. That's my display. So yeah, the really interesting thing is that Pokemon as a company, the Pokemon Company, they reserve the right to use fanworks legally. So they could have totally just did that. but I think that there was a level of embarrassment with getting caught, and because of like all of the weird nuances of like the person who made it is an artist for the Pokemon trading card game, they just decided that, yeah, we can't use this no more. And again, this is one of the animated cards, and there's only like 2 or 3 in a set. So now they're scrambling to figure out how to replace them.
Oh my
And
god.
I don't know, I have mixed feelings about it. Like, they totally could have just used it and said fuck you to the person who commissioned that piece.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't. So I kind of want to give them some credit too, but also they're only doing this because they got caught. So I don't know. It's a complex issue, but it is nice to see that they were reactive and not just complicit, I guess. Um, but I think the only other news I have is Kojima talking about how he's not going to play Metal Gear Solid 3's remake and how he knows how to kill people.
What? What? That last bit. What?
Okay, so so Kojima was interviewed about and this is something that we've talked about a lot actually. So we agree with Kojima on this in that a lot of modern AAA titles look very samey. And like
Yes.
part of his mission is to do things that are different and innovative, which I respect. Um but in the same interview he was asked if he was going to be playing the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, and he said no because it goes against the idea of like bringing new things to the table, and how the people who probably worked on that remake don't even know how like to dismantle a gun, right? So the act of dismantling a gun is something that happens several times in Metal Gear Solid 3, and I do not doubt that Kojima learned how to do that because he's just that much of a fanatic, and he's that much of an auteur when it comes to like engaging with the things that he's putting into his games, right?
Oh my god.
But in the process of talking about how he knows how to dismantle guns, he went on and like kind of went on a little bit of a rant about how he knows so many different ways of killing people, which is like, you don't need to say that, bro. Like, again, I think that you probably do know many ways to kill people. I don't know if you could perform them, but the way that he
Sure, but
presented it
knowing
made it seem like he.
how, you know.
Yes, and and again, I think that that's not necessarily a falsehood. I think that he's saying that earnestly, but it's also just like, you didn't need to say that. But I mean,
That fucking
again,
guy.
the core statement is that we agree with him. A lot of AAA games do look the same, the point that they all bleed together. It's so funny because like he and Jeff Keighley are such a big friends, and Jeff Keighley puts on the Game Awards, and it's just like
I mean,
that's
Jeff
the
Keighley's
main.
not making the games that all look the same.
Yeah, but he's going out on stage like, check out this cool new thing, and it's like, it's not cool, and it's not that
He's
new
being
either.
paid. Kojima gets it.
Well, he's playing all the tables, He wants to be
Yeah.
in the in crowd in literally every facet of the gaming industry. So, and he's doing it. You give him full credit for that. Um, but yeah, Kojima's still a really big weirdo. And I love him and I hate him, so we'll leave it at that.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm starting to get a little uncomfortable in my own shorts sitting here.
I'm probably gonna end up going to pair 4 here.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
full disclosure.
So thank you everybody for joining us. Video games goodbye. Audio Games is hosted and produced by Matthew Lane and Neil Jimenez. Our theme music is Recharging by Gooset. If you'd like to reach out to us, please email us at audiogamespodcast@gmail.com.
That was really awkward. The intonation you said that.
I'm great at weird intonations. Okay,
Okay.
I don't talk about this much, but I do cut up my streams and stuff just to put on YouTube a little bit, right? I'm not just putting
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
raw 6 hours or whatever.
You should.
I don't. But because of the way I speak, I notice myself sometimes being like, this is like where I need to cut this, but it just sounds like not the end of a sentence, but I didn't say anything else. Like,
yeah, that's exactly what just happened.
I guess this is the end of this cut here. Like,
well, at least we came back around and closed up that loop.
Yeah, it gets weird. It gets
Goodbye.
weird.